my car. That's right, guys, the voice is almost gone, still in my car, still out of town, but I'm going to do this review no matter what. Today, we are talking about Hellboy, the 2019 movie, the reboot of the original Hellboy. Why didn't we get a third film? I was looking forward to that film, but you know what? I was not opposed to the fact that there were new filmmakers coming in and doing something different with this franchise. And today, I want to tell you guys how the movie measures up. Not even measures up, because it's not like I want to sit here and compare this to the original, because no, they're taking the character in a different direction. They're trying to bring us a new comic book movie, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I want you guys to get down in the comments section below. Let me know, did you like Hellboy? Do you like the originals more? Were you looking forward to this film? I know a lot of people have seen it. Almost everyone has reviewed it. Once again, it's been a long weekend, but I promise to get this review out for you guys. This is out now. Missing Link is coming out soon. I'm definitely seeing that as soon as I get back, so I'll be back to the normal set. Right now, we're talking Hellboy. So based on the graphic novels, Hellboy, who is caught in between the worlds of the supernatural and the humans, he battles an ancient sorceress bent on revenge. And I'll give you two reasons why I was actually looking forward to this film. One, David Harbour. I love the guy. Everything he touches, whether I love the movie or not, I think he always manages to do a good job. I'm excited that he signed on to the Black Widow film. Now, when I saw that, I said, ooh, I don't know if that bodes well for the Hellboy film, because he's a part of this franchise and now he's kind of moving on over. Okay, and then you have Neil Marshall as the director, and I really enjoyed Neil Marshall so far from a directing standpoint. Now, The Descent, I think, is by far his best movie, but I was excited to see him tackle the comic book genre. But here's what I needed from this movie. I needed Hellboy to do something really different from the first one to set itself apart, make it look like it had a reason to exist, and I needed this movie to not be a cliche and conventional comic book movie that looked like it belonged in the early 2000s, because that's the vibe I got from the trailers. I didn't like the trailers really at all. The only trailer that I truly enjoyed was the most recent, I think, teaser. It wasn't even a trailer, but it was a hard R-rated spot. I'm like, oh, I like the violence. I like the R-rated. I like that they're going darker and deeper. This isn't going to be as funny as maybe the originals or as cartoony as the first two Hellboys. Now, I love that for those films, but we have Neil Marshall coming in, a guy who knows horror, so bring those horror elements. And there are certain elements in the movie where I can look at those and say, you know what? Those are things that could have worked. I think David Harbour as Hellboy, he worked really well as the character. I liked his portrayal. He just did not get enough to do, and I think the script, the screenplay in general, did not help his case. And then I did like certain creature designs, and there were one or two action scenes in there where I can see what they were going for. You have Hellboy, you have this R rating, you have all of the violence in the world that you could possibly use. Now, yes, sometimes they overdo it, and they do violence just for the sake of violence, especially towards the end with all of the CGI nonsense that happens. And I was looking at that going, are they doing this because they have an R rating and they're like, oh, we can just get away and do whatever we want? Or are they doing this to serve the story? And it never felt like anything that they did, any aspect of the plot that you want to look at, served the story or furthered the characters. We're just thrown into this ridiculous story at the beginning of the movie, and everything, whether it's a line of dialogue or a character or a conversation, felt over the top and felt like complete nonsense. I can't tell you how many times everyone in my theater, maybe not everybody, but most people in my theater were laughing at parts of the movie that should not have been laughed at. This film does not know what it wants to be, and that's something that I love when a movie can nail. When a film can hit its target audience and know exactly what kind of movie it needs and wants to be, that is something that I just have to give kudos for. And Hellboy just doesn't know. The characters are so one-dimensional. They are not fleshed out, and then when they try to flesh something out, they throw you into a ridiculous flashback scene that does nothing for the audience. All it does is give you an exposition dump, but it doesn't give exposition on things that we need to know about the story. No, it's fleshing out things that happened many years ago or things that happen with characters that we just don't care about. And this villain, aka Alice from Resident Evil, is completely ridiculous. Her line delivery was horrible. Every line is delivered in this way, with this manner and these expressions. And it's comedic. The very first scene of the movie, this ridiculous black and white flashback scene, characters are acting so serious and over the top, and you have this voiceover telling the story of these epic characters, and then you bring in King Arthur and Merlin. And how many times have we shoehorned King Arthur into a story, Transformers, and it doesn't work. It doesn't fit. They needed to bring something into the film to make Hellboy, not the character, the movie, more relatable to the audience. And if you don't want to make him relatable, then go completely outlandish, but pick a side. Don't take yourself so seriously to when you actually make a joke, it's not funny. The only time the audience is laughing is when they're not supposed to laugh, is when characters are screaming, or their line delivery is like, "We will catch him alive." And the entire time I'm sitting there watching the film, I'm thinking, is this 2019? Have we not moved on from a comic book movie like this? I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so upset. And this is a film that I think some people will go and see and appreciate the cheesiness and actually have a pretty good time with how completely dumb it is. If someone was going to argue with me, Austin, this is a well-produced movie. It's fairly well edited and pretty well directed. I would argue you to the day that I die. But if someone told me that they don't think that's the case, but they still had a pretty good time, a fun time with the movie and the character, I can understand that, because David Harbour, he's having fun in the role, and you can tell it's just the story and the script and everything around him was not serving his character. And when you get to those moments at the end with the epicness of Hellboy, you just don't get a payoff because you're not invested in the ridiculous and sloppy and poorly edited, jumbled together mess of a story. And I'm hearing about behind the scenes problems, and I can completely see that, because it's just like, here's a plot point, that was cool, we should have Hellboy face some giants, that would be cool on screen, we should have some creatures come in and start taking over the world. Okay, we're going to mix all of those things, we're going to put them in one movie, and we're going to bring in Alice from Resident Evil as the queen. Yes, stories, writing, movies. Sorry guys, my voice has went from bad to worse during this review, but what the hell, boy? And if you guys can't tell, other than some fun David Harbour scenes and some interesting character designs, everything else about this movie, I hated. I hated this movie. I thought it was awful. It is one of my least favorite films of the year, and I don't mean to be overdramatic, guys, because truly, I wanted to enjoy this. I have no reason to walk in thinking I should hate this movie, because why would I? I love David Harbour and Neil Marshall. Why was this so bad? But we've just moved on as a society from this kind of superhero film, and one that is this poorly thrown together. I'm going to compare it to Fantastic Four, because I don't think I've seen a comic book movie this bad since Fantastic Four, and I may even like Fantastic Four a bit more than this. Once again, guys, over dramatic, that's just the way this video is going to be. I am going to give Hellboy a 24%. I believe it's my least favorite movie of the year. You guys can go check out my Letterboxd page and know that for sure, but yeah, wow, what a disappointment. But if you guys like it, I'm not going to hold that against you, because movies are all subjective, and that's the beauty of it. We can talk about it, we can discuss it in the comments section down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, like I said, hopefully I'll be back in my own space very soon. You are the absolute best. Thank you so much for following me this weekend and putting up with my very weak voice that just keeps getting weaker. I will catch you guys very soon.